Hey guys, it's Vic from GraspingTheMarket and welcome to our market briefing. Well, we're back after a very short break on Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, and we're looking at what we're seeing for next week on the larger time frame. As you know, there's very marginal excess at the top. We're very close to the all-time highs. Last week, technically, we traded above the previous week's high by only 4 ticks. So technically, we've been one time framing up for 3 weeks. On the daily, however, we see that there's an 8-day balancing range, slightly above the 3,000 area, and as you know, very close to the all-time highs. One thing that I would mention is you saw the first approach, some backing and filling, second approach, and Friday there was some news and triggering volatility in the market that caused a weak close. So obviously tomorrow we will look for continuation on that. I've already seen some headlines, but I don't want to anticipate. The focus will be on assessing continuation from that move that happened on the Friday session. But overall, if you look at the larger time frame on the daily, we broke out of this intermediate term balancing range. We approached the all-time high and we're balancing finding acceptance up here. So although those two approaches seem like they came short from taking the high, at the end of the day we're building acceptance here, and as long as we reject every time we go down, I think that improves the odds that eventually we will at least probe higher. If we look at the market profile, you see a zoom in version of that daily chart. You see the clear continuation. There's one thing I forgot to mention. I have here on my right continuous 30-minute bar chart, and you can see how it is oscillating around the 200 moving average, confirming or aligned with this balancing mode that we're seeing here. You see 20 handles up, 20 handles down, and it goes back and forth. So the market, you can clearly say it is balancing, although we're approaching a very high risk area. Now on Thursday session, we barely took this high that was over here by 2 ticks and started moving down towards the end of the session, and we had a late spike. You can see the LMN, how there was a spike lower into the Wednesday's profile. Now, after seeing that being in the middle of the balancing range, the focus for Friday was to assess continuation from that late spike, and it was a tricky one because if you look at Friday, you open just above the base of that spike and build acceptance. It started grinding lower, but then there was some support given. However, then news hit the wire and you had a strong move down, and that move held for the close. So as you can see, it created a separate distribution, double distribution with good acceptance down there, but notice that the POC didn't move lower. So that's the first thing we need to see on Monday, whether we open in this region or we reject this region or we continue lower. I have to say that the reversal that we saw after the broke lower was very sharp. You went back to the halfback almost immediately in the next couple of periods. There was no continuation there. Probably I was not even here, but I was monitoring remotely. Probably sellers step in and towards closing the week ahead of the weekend. You don't want to hold long positions. Probably there was some liquidation after seeing that it was not possible to close this double distribution. So focus for tomorrow and the week will be on assessing. Well, first of all, the immediate focus is continuation from this move. So value development relative to this lower distribution. If you get acceptance within this distribution or lower, that improves the odds that we are possibly probing outside this 8-day balancing low towards the gap that's still in place down here. If you, however, close this double distribution or you get acceptance back above 3,002 or 4, that will be very positive because you will have a couple of backing and filling with a couple of what it looked like and a failed attempt. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is that you're coming back stronger. So all those short positions up there could be in a lot of trouble if this uh, excess, if we can call it like that, um, stays in place and we head back up. Another important thing to mention is that I've seen a little bit of mechanical selling at the top of this area, close to around the 3018-24 area. You see how they keep selling to the tick every reference. There was a poor high here. There was just a few ticks excess here. Another poor high here, I believe, or a couple of ticks. So there's a lot of mechanical selling. If the sellers do not get what they're after, which is break this area and head lower, there could be in a lot of trouble. There could be an inventory imbalance, and you could see some short covering taking the all-time high. So that's it for the time being. Trade well. Remember, I always like to be patient at the beginning of the week and see where the market takes us.